Hello everyone, and I'm back with another thinker in the series, that is Cloud Levi Strauss. Myself is Kalpana Singh, and I'm a research scholar in Department of Sociology in DBS PG College, Kanpur. I'm working under the supervision of Professor Dr. Rajiv Kumar. Let's move ahead. This is the picture of Cloud Levi Strauss, and this is few of his notable works. The first one is The Elementary Structures of Friendship in 1949. The Structural Study of Myth, 1955, The Savage Mind, 1962, and The Totemism, 1962. There are several other notable works done by him, so you can go back to your text and add it on your notes, right? So these are few of the very important notable works. Okay, let's move ahead. Claude Lévi-Strauss was a prominent French anthropologist and ethnologist who made significant contributions to the field of anthropology. So, some of the key aspects of his work were, the first one was structuralism. Here it is written in the heading side due to this picture arrangement. This is somehow hidden. So, just a minute. Okay. So, this is the structuralism. First, I'll try to explain to at least extent what was his concept of structuralism. So Levi-Strauss was best known for developing the theory of structuralism. Now, this revolutionized anthropology and had a profound impact on other social sciences. Structuralism involves analyzing cultural systems, right? This is, for example, kinship and mythical systems in terms of structural relations among their elements. This is very important where you analyze the elements of a particular structure. Okay. Now, it views culture as a system of communication and seeks to identify those underlying structures in this, the patterns, okay, the big theories, the big structures, the parts of it, and the underlying patterns of thought in human activities, right? These elements are interconnected, and we try to understand, he tried to understand that everything in culture is somehow based upon the binary oppositions. Okay, so Levi-Strauss argued that the savage mind, referring to the non-Western culture. I hope you understand the word savage, right? So he had this particular thing that this savage mind had the same structural patterns as a civilized mind, right? So here also you see a kind of contradiction between what is savage mind and what is called civilized mind. They are opposite to each other, and somehow it is called a binary opposition, right? Now we try to understand the culture on the basis of language and science. You might have heard the name of Ferdinand de Saussure. He worked on semiology and science and symbols and its significant importance in understanding the culture. So these are the further study by Claude Lévi-Strauss. Okay. Now, what was the influence Claude Lévi-Strauss had? Right? Lévi-Strauss' idea extended beyond anthropology in philosophy, in comparative religion, literature. Right? So it has this particular method is used across the disciplines. Okay. For him, the important thing was that context matter. When you come to understand the meaning of certain thing, then the very first thing is contextual. The meaning depends on the context, situation. There is no universal meaning about certain thing. There is contextual. Means people come to accept its meaning collectively, right? Uh, let's say, for example, the red light, the traffic red light, to understand that how people generally stop their vehicles after seeing the red light, and when it turns to green, then the vehicles start moving. So this was the collective meaning people have accepted. Now, this structuralism involves analyzing cultural systems and the relations among these elements. These elements of a particular structure are interconnected. Okay. Now let's move to the next concept given by him. So I hope this particular structuralism is very clear in your mind that there are common patterns, underlying structures which is similar between the civilized society and the savage minds. So these two opposites still holding the same kind of pattern. The elements of a structure are interconnected and they are generally binary opposites, and language and science can be used to understand. These are the mental constructs and they can be used to understand the particular culture. Just now coming to the next concept given by him is the alliance theory. Now, these are the few key points about the alliance theory: the transition from the animal world of nature to the human world of culture that depends on the exchanges, that is influenced by the work of Marcel Mauss, reciprocal gift exchange. Second was the supreme gifts, where he talked the supreme gift given by women is a fertility. Next one is the role of incest taboo, then positive and negative sanctions of a marriage, web of kinship, reciprocity, and exchange. So Levi Strauss was intrigued by the origin of arbitrary social categories such as kinship, race, class, within kinship, within class, within race, right? And their apparent compulsory quality within society. So he has seen the transition from nature to culture. He was influenced by Mauss' work on reciprocal gift giving in primitive society. So he proposed that the transition from animal world of nature to human world of culture occurred through exchange. So exchange is a very important concept also to try to understand. For example, let's say you are celebrating your birthday or any kind of event and you have invited your several friends over there and you are expecting from them to bring certain gift, then they are also giving you a gift because they will already know that they will receive this in return in near future or similar kind of circumstances. So this exchange plays a very significant role in social relationships, right? In the act of giving, the category of the self in opposition to another was constituted. The first social categories originated not in the realm of ideas, but uh, through these gift exchanges, right? So, according to Claude Lévi-Strauss, women's fertility was very crucial for group reproduction, for any race to survive, for any species to survive. Okay, so fertility was considered to be a supreme gift from women. The simplest form of exchange was that the men exchanging their sisters, creating the first kinship categories. It means that men giving sister to a family and taking their girl from that family. So it is kind of a brothers and sister exchange, and this was the first kind of kinship, the very basic kind of kinship where the two group of people actually have this requirement fulfilled by having the required number of girls or boys in a family, right? So you are giving your sister, and in return you are getting uh, a girl in return from another from same family where you are giving your sister, right? So you are getting your wife from that family where you are giving your sister. So this was the basic form of kinship as mentioned by Claude Levi-Strauss, right? So reciprocity, what is reciprocity? The principle that gifts establish mutual obligations between giver and receiver. Men who gave their sisters in marriage would receive the sisters of other men. So, what is the role of the incest taboo here? So, incest taboo, there is some universal rules of not getting in this reproduction relationship with your first kin. That is, incest taboo means not between marriage between or similar kind of relationship of reproduction between the brother and sister or a father and a daughter or a son and a mother. So this kind of things were strictly prohibited across the cultures all over the globe, all over the civilization. So this incest taboo was considered to be the negative sanctions because it was considered that one cannot marry such and such people, such and such kin. So rules were a person cannot marry. So it was thought as a, it was considered to be a negative sanction. Whereas what is the positive sanction means you have given the options from where you can choose your mate. So that is considered as a positive sanction, right? So incest taboo is universally documented. The prohibition of sexual relationships between specific kin categories varied across cultures, right? So Levi Strauss, if I want to summarize Alliance theory of Levi-Strauss in a nutshell, then it highlights the role of reciprocity, exchange, and incest taboo in shaping kinship system and social structures. Okay, so this was the basic understanding about the alliance theory. I hope you have a little uh, introduction with this particular topic. Now, if you can go back and read in detail and come back to this video later. Right? Let's move to the next concept of Levi-Strauss. Now, Emile Durkheim, we have already studied this particular totemism, and it is again studied by Claude Levi-Strauss, and it is a fascinating phenomenon that transcends its traditional religious connotations. Right? So let's see what Levi-Strauss has to say about this totemism. The opposition between nature and culture within totemism, right? So Levi-Strauss views totemism as a mode of classification, right? A cognitive process that goes beyond this mere religious symbolism as given by the Emile Durkheim. Totemic classifications of intellectual functions organizing both the social and the natural world. Okay, this function operates through mechanisms of differentiation, opposition, and substitution. So, what is that particular nature versus culture kind of dichotomy? So, he derived, illustrated the abstract polarities he observed in totemism. The basic opposition lies between nature and culture. Culture is a man-made thing, whereas nature itself is a natural thing, right? So within totemism, he has given four kind of relationship between nature and culture, right? First one was a species of animal or plant identified with a particular group. Then an animal and a plant identified with a particular individual. Then a particular animal or a plant identified with an individual. And a particular animal or a plant identified with the culture. Right? So this was the four kind of things he have given. Let's say what is the example for it. For group totemism, Australians associate natural things with cultural groups, right? Like moieties, plants, etc. For individual totemism, North American Indians correlate individuals with specific species. Then there were Mota people, then animal patronage, right? For example, in Polynesia and Africa, specific animals are objects of group veneration. So, if we would like to summarize this particular thing, so totemic phenomena is an attributive study. Okay, it is not a very objective study. It is an attribute. So it helps you to classify between different groups, different individuals. Okay, not identifying them, but actually classifying them into certain categories. Okay, so this particular totemism reveals its cognitive dimensions, emphasizes how classification and symbolic association shape human culture. So that was all about totemism. Okay, let's move to the next next concept given by Claude Levi-Strauss. So just a minute. This is a very interesting concept, that is binary opposites. Now, the what are binary opposites? The pairs of contrasting elements exist in various domains of human thought and culture. Here, I have already given you seven kind of examples, right? So, this is the fundamental aspect of human thought and cultural system, right? Good versus evil, a classic binary opposition found in folklore, religion, right? Like the concept of heaven and hell. So these are the good versus evil, and it was always present in certain kind of forms and shapes in across the religions, right? Next was the male versus female. Now you have already know about the kind of discrimination based upon this particular binary opposite, where when we say about a binary opposite, it is understood that one part of this opposite is in a superior position, whereas the other part is in inferior position. One is valued over the other. So this was the particular thing. The male is valued over the female. A male child is valued over the female child, and we have already seen the kind of debates across the globe, the feminism movements, the equality movement, the gender equality movement. So this was male versus female. Next was the life versus death. This supposition is deeply ingrained in human thought and cultural symbolism. We have so many rituals associated with it, and so many myths about it. And in spirituality also, this is so much emphasized part of study life and death. Next was the light versus dark. Definitely, light was valued more over the dark, and dark is somehow considered to symbolize the ignorance and a bad thing and the uh, unfortune or something misfortune or unfortunate things. So similar, and light is a ray of hope and sort of things given by mm, uh, God worship across the religions, right? So this was dark versus light. Next were the order versus chaos, then nature versus culture, us versus them, human versus, there are several others like human versus supernatural, inside versus outside, high versus low. So what is the significance of this binary opposites, right? Binary opposition help structure our understanding of the world. They create meaning by highlighting contrast. Okay, they highlight what is the contrast between these examples, right? You can easily get to know the contrast between two opposite sides, something like polar opposites, right? So they highlight the contrast and allow us to categorize experiences and phenomena, right? So binary opposites provide a useful framework. Okay, like we have seen in Max Weber ideal type. Similarly, we have a binary opposite who um, can be taken as an ideal thing and come across what actually working on the grounds, portraying men as a universally strong and women as a damsels in distress, perpetuates gender stereotypes. So in modern narratives also binary opposites are often more nuanced with multiple layers of meaning and complexity. But this particular theory of binary opposite highlights how our minds organize information through contrasting pairs, shaping cultural systems and our perceptions of the world. So this was the four basic thing given by Claude Lévi-Strauss, and there are certain other things that you need to study in detail in your books, okay, and add all the extra things here, right? So this was a brief introduction about Claude Lévi-Strauss. I hope you understood the basic things. Okay, okay. Have a good day, and we'll meet with next thinker in the series. Thank you.